Hi everyone, welcome to the PlayStation Access podcast, where we're taking a look at the humble video game adaptation. Or not so humble, considering the excellence The Last of Us is currently dishing out to our TV screens. Join us for a discussion on our favourite game-to-screen adaptations, what we'd love to see given the adaptation treatment, and some quick-fire Pod Squad comments. Let's go! Hello everybody and welcome to the PlayStation Access podcast, the official podcast of PlayStation UK, which means one thing, of course, one thing only. We're going to be talking about a very small TV series, I don't know if you've heard of it, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us!
I'm so excited about The Last of Us.
So good.
It's so good. I mean, only from like the first episode alone, it's just like...
We'll get to that, Rosie. We'll get there.
Oh,
We'll get there.
the excitement!
Hold your horses, Rosie.
Right, I'm going to introduce us first. You've probably heard the name Rosie, so that she's here.
Hello, everyone.
And Ash, me, your host, and Rob is also here.
Hello.
We are missing Dave this week because getting us all together in the same room in this new year is just not...
Impossible, apparently.
Not something we can do.
Yeah.
So you've got three of us. And as always, I'm going to give us a little punny name based around our theme.
I missed this last time.
Yes, I actually
When
wrote
you
them
weren't
down.
here.
They were in white ink. It was like...
Can you remember?
I think I can. See, I thought this is quite funny because it links back because we're going to talk about The Last of Us, but also adaptations at large for video games. And in the Uncharted film, he does a little hot moment on the postcard which reveals secret writing, and this was like what I left on the podcast outline where I had the pun names. If you'd have done the secret highlight, you'd have seen them. So the New Year's names were Rosie Lucian.
Hey,
Yeah.
nice.
Mine was Ash Langsine.
That's good.
Dave was New Year's Dave, and then you, Rob, were my favourite because it was Janu Rob.
Let's move on. What are our Last of Us name or TV adaptation names?
This is TV show names to kind of tie into the adaptation overarching theme. So mine is Ash versus the Evil Dead or Ash versus Evil Dead. There's no the in it. It's the series, the TV series. So
Yours was easy. Yours is just the name of the TV series.
yeah, because I am cool and my name is Ash, like Ash Williams, but Ash Milliams. Rob, yours is from the TV show Mr. Robot. Mr. Robots.
Again, that's just the name of the show. My name just fits in there.
Exactly.
I'm excited for mine now.
Yeah, people used to call me Robot as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Is that because of your cool dance moves? Can you give us a robot move?
I can't remember why.
Oh.
I can't do it on the sofa.
Just a little one for our watchers
Little
on YouTube.
arm, a little arm.
Yeah. I'll do some noise as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, do the noise.
So that people who are listening don't feel left out.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
There you go.
Pretty good.
There you go.
You need some oil though.
Yeah, some WD-40 on my joints.
Okay, Rosie, your name is Rosie. There's a 1970s TV show about a police officer called Rosie.
You just...
The typical one is the children's TV
God's
show,
sake.
Rosie and Jim. So I have to give you credit for just finding one of just called
Rosie.
Rosie. A British TV show about a police officer called Rosie.
I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that. Maybe it's on UK Gold or something.
Maybe,
I
yeah.
don't know. It was very I didn't look up anything about it other than it was this police officer who's called like Detective Rosewood or something like that. But to his friends, he's Rosie. So let's move on swiftly from this. I'm going to give you a little preview of what we're going to be talking about today. So our main feature is video game adaptations.
Yes.
Adaptations. And The Last of Us new TV series. I laughed so enthusiastically then. I'm a bit embarrassed about it. Yes, The Last of Us, brand new TV show. Very exciting. Loads of stuff to say about it. We're then going to move on to comments of the week, which are community highlights from the hashtag Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
Very good, guys. Then we're going to move on to Before We Go for some coverage outside of gaming. But first, it is the question that comes up every week. I've got to ask it. What's new? Okay, guys, and what is new? That is the question. It's January, so I'm going to tell
Still.
you. Yeah, it's a long January.
It's been 84 years.
All of
Still
them
January.
So it's ongoing. It's January, and there's not a lot of new news out there. It's just endure and survive thematically, actually. So I have collected up a little post from the PlayStation blog, which is about the most downloaded games in December for PS5.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was just an interesting kind of overview of what people have been playing over Christmas.
Can we guess?
Period. You can try and guess, yeah. So I've got the top 10.
I think I can see it.
Oh.
I've already looked at it. My eyes couldn't help but look at the screen.
Well, okay, I
What do you
guess
think the top one is?
a Call of Duty game.
Ooh,
You're
that's
close.
number 2. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is the second most
That's number
downloaded.
2. Number 1. I'm just saying, I know that FIFA might be quite popular. I don't know if that'll be number 1, but FIFA.
It is!
It is number
Yeah.
1!
Well done,
FIFA
Rosie.
23.
Yeah!
Nailed it.
And then we've got El Clasico, Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 3. This is for the UK charts as well. We've got Need for Speed, Unbound, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, The Callisto Protocol, God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, NBA 2K23, and Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Good old Crisis Core.
Well done, Crisis Core.
You
yes,
made it. You
great
got it.
game.
Oh, I'm glad that the Callisto Protocol is getting loads of love on being in the top 10 because I really enjoyed it.
I've got it downloaded. I've not started it yet.
Oh, are you going to play it?
I've got it downloaded on my PS5, ready to play. Yeah.
I really want to play it.
Yay!
I've decided I'm just gonna this. I'm gonna play that and Dead Space and Resi 4 and Silent Hill 2
Oh,
this year.
here he is.
Just
He's the horror man?
horror time.
Horob is arriving.
Horror.
Horob.
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 Oh man, I'm gonna have to fight you. You've already had my spot doing presenting for the podcast, being the host. You can't have horror as
I'm
well.
the horror person on the channel.
I was terrified.
That's right.
I was like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be relegated to like Dave's spot on the other
You're
side.
the Star Wars fan now.
Yeah, that'll be it. I'll be taken away. Well, not as the Star Wars fan. I just mean Rob will be in my seat and I'll have to move somewhere else.
Well, we just
You'll
swap.
have to
won't we?
come
You'll
next
be
to
relegated
me.
to my seat.
Yeah. Oh God, the lowest of the low.
It's nice over here. It's nice. I'm on the aisle.
That's true.
I can just, nip out to the loo anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime I like.
That's true. That's true. I'm in the window seat. The window being the glassy eyes of the cameras. Hello.
Yeah. Well, we're all in the window seat.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's kind of like a little overview of what people have been playing over Christmas, which I just think is nice. And I like that people have their favourites that are just tried and tested. Your FIFA, your Call of Duty, and your Grand Theft Auto. Like, they're just always going to be there, aren't they? Just nice little...
Your classics.
Yeah, there we go. People are hanging out, chatting, having fun. I'm going to include this. Rob's going to be like, no, but I'm going to include this. The newest thing for PlayStation Access is we've made a deal with the devil, aka Rob, where if we get over 3,000 peak concurrents,
We should have kept this to ourselves.
we get a pizza.
Pizza!
That's what our workers come
On a
to.
live stream, let's
Yeah.
clarify.
On a live stream
Yeah.
on our channel,
If we ever
yeah.
have 3,000 people at the same time
Yeah.
watching a live stream,
We
it
get a
has
pizza.
been decreed that pizza will be provided for the
Pizza!
team.
I really like it how it's the carrot on the stick, but it's just like the slice on the pole. I don't know what you'd put a pizza on. The plate.
Plate.
Yeah.
Plate.
Yeah.
Or just hand, like someone just holding on to it.
It could, but I don't want hand pizza. I want it box fresh.
On one of those things, the big, what are they called, that you get pizzas out of the stone oven with.
The,
Yeah.
the big
The
pallets.
shovels, the big
the
pizza
pizza
shovel.
shovel.
The pizza
Yeah.
shovel.
Yeah, so we have opportunity to earn the pizza shovel. So there's just a little. That's just a little like, hey, if you haven't seen us on YouTube, come and watch us on YouTube.
I don't want there to be 3,000 peak concurrents, but it's pity watching because they want us to have pizza.
Pizza watching. Well, I don't want that either. Not at all.
Don't also join us for a pizza party.
No, don't. You're not going to get. There's nothing in it for the audience. That's the thing. We shouldn't have said anything.
Joy,
The audience
joy.
doesn't get pizza.
They can join us for everyone grabs a pizza and then
Yeah.
in spirit we're all having a pizza party
We're
together.
also not having pizzas on the live stream either.
No, that's true.
That's not what's going to happen.
No, I need to eat privately when it comes to pizza.
Let's move on from this.
Let's move on. So, also, I wanted to talk about The Last of Us, but I'm going to put that in our main feature. So, I figured that was the spot for it.
It is very new, though, isn't it? It's
It
the
is very
newest,
new.
most exciting thing.
Yeah, I just think with all of our adaptations, there's so much to talk about it. So. Let's do a little first impression here. What was your thoughts when they announced a Last of Us series?
Oh, at first I just thought this is really cool. I think it's a world that I'm so used to it being in video game format. When it was announced for TV, I was immediately like, oh, what are they? Yeah, like what? Oh, yeah, like what are they? What are they going to do with the world, with the characters? When the cast was announced, I won't lie, I don't know the cast. I don't know any. I know anyone in the cast. I know that they've done some really big roles, but I heard
Not a Game of Thrones fan.
are they-
Not a Mandalorian fan.
I've never seen Mandalorian, but it's on my list of things to watch. In Game of Thrones,
You've seen Game of Thrones. Pedro Pascal was Prince Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones.
And Bella Ramsey.
And Bella Ramsey was Lyanna Mormont.
Yeah.
I do
I
not
believe.
remember.
She's the Bear Island lady.
She was amazing in Game of
She was
Thrones.
so good.
She was like the little girl who would tell all the Northern Lords
Yeah.
what was what.
Yeah.
They'd all be deliberating and couldn't get to a consensus, and Bella Ramsey would stand up and was like, "Shut up, old men! We're going to do this!"
Yeah.
And everyone was like, I love Lyanna Mormont.
I do not remember this at all.
And
Yeah.
Oberyn Martell was
What
just
seasons?
amazing. This is
Oh.
season 4. He had like,
Okay, I would have watched it
Well,
then.
we won't do spoilers because there might be people who are listening to this who are in the middle of watching
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
He's a great Dornish man, though.
But he's brilliant. He's
don't
amazing.
remember
He has
any
like
of-
a
Very
spear.
sexy.
It's like I remember some things about Game of Thrones. I just don't remember
Some of the key, most
some of the
memorable
key
parts.
most memorable parts. Apparently,
For God's sake, Rosie.
maybe if I saw an image of them in role in Game of Thrones, I'd
Maybe,
be like, "Oh,
yeah.
that character."
He does look very different as Joel to how he looks as Prince Oberyn.
I mean, it's
for
the
sure.
same face.
It is, but like, you know, it's rugged and a bit bleak and
Yeah.
and you know, years of trauma. His character in Game of Thrones is a
Yeah.
very sort of optimistic, bright-eyed,
Yeah.
Oh.
everything. You know, he's
I want to look this up right now.
it's so
now,
good.
He's very charming.
that was
He's very
that
charming.
was the first time I ever became aware of Pedro Pascal was when he played Oberyn in Game of Thrones.
He's great.
He's so good in it.
And he's so good in Mandalorian as well, just
Yeah.
as the masked man, the helmeted the behelmeted boy.
the helmet. What is?
Because he wears a Mandalorian mask all the time.
Wait, is he the actual main character?
Yes, Rosie. Yes.
Wow! I didn't know this.
Are you sure you've seen The Mandalorian, Rosie?
No, Rosie said she hasn't seen the
I haven't
Mandalorian.
seen
Oh,
the
you haven't seen- you
Mandalorian.
haven't
No,
seen The
I haven't
Mandalorian.
seen the
Okay,
Mandalorian.
fair enough,
I think
fair
I saw like the first episode, and then something else came up, and I was like, oh, I need to come back to this.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't have seen his face if you've only seen the first
Well,
episode.
that's I only know the character in the helmet.
Yeah.
And now the whole time I'm going to be there like, where's your face? Come on, come on! I want to see
Let
that
me
lovely.
see that.
Let me see that lovely face. But now you've inclined me more to watch The Mandalorian, so maybe I'll pick it up. I'm
It's
gonna-
good.
Yeah,
It's very
I've
good.
heard it's very good.
What did you think about the announcement of The Last of Us, Rob?
I was very excited about it, but I think I became even more excited when the trailers started dropping, and
Yeah.
you saw it became immediately apparent what a very good job they'd done. I think good's a very shallow word. A very authentic job, a very faithful job. Obviously, Neil Druckmann has had a lot of creative involvement in it, so it was always going to be. We felt very faithful to the game.
Yeah.
And I think, well, we'll talk more about this in the main feature because I think it's very satisfying to see, like, how The Last of Us has almost come full circle in a way. Obviously, the game, the storytelling in the game is very heavily inspired by like some of the best cinematic storytelling out there. Like it's a very cinematic game anyway, The Last of Us, and so it's almost like the perfect game for a television adaptation because so much of the drama can be captured just how it was in the game. So I think that was very exciting. And now episode 1 of the show is here and everyone's watched it. I think I'm sure a lot of our audience would agree that it is so far an incredibly faithful adaptation, and sort of like the emotional response you get from it is very similar to the emotional response you get whilst you're playing the game. It's
That's a
great.
bad thing. That's a bad thing because I know I'm going to cry the whole way through.
No, but it's good though, isn't it? It's good stuff.
Of course, it's amazing.
good stuff.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's just a little joke because it's really good and it's really powerful and it's already getting those little. Oh God, the pangs that you get, the heart pangs of The Last of Us are happening. But we're not going to delve into heavy spoilers or anything like that in this podcast. We're just going to talk about The Last of Us, about that first episode and kind of like the feeling behind that.
Yeah.
So
we've got a video on the channel with
Yeah.
you both, with Ash
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Rosie.
The spoiler cast.
Yeah, not a spoiler, just like a reaction to episode 1. So if you've seen episode 1, please go and watch that video, and you can share in the excitement.
Woo! But for now, though, let's move on to the main feature so that we can talk a little bit more in depth about it and some of our other favourite adaptations and the video game to big screen pipeline. Let's go. Okay, we're in the main feature, so we can get down into the nitty gritty of The Last of Us. So I think kind of my next question that kind of digs into the first episode airing specifically is just overall feelings about the first episode, because mine are
It's very, very strong first episode.
Yeah.
It's one of those episodes that you watch the first one and immediately, by the end of it, you're like, where's the next one?
yeah.
And I know that I've got a lot of friends as well who are making more of an event out of the first episode as
Yeah.
well. You know, they're getting popcorn, they're going to watch it at night time, set up the living room, so it's all, and it's definitely worth like that little extra setup just to get into the moment and then get completely hooked and gripped by it. And from the reaction I've seen from people so far, everyone's just been like, what an amazing first episode. So it's a very strong first episode.
I think a lot of people that I've spoken to, I know, well, you, Rob, being one of them, it's like all these people who know and love the game and have played it and have played the different iterations of it from PS3 to PS5 as well, have partners and family and friends.
This for me is the main thing that I'm enjoying. Like my wife is not a gamer, but I often watch, I just watch good TV shows with her, and I knew that The Last of Us, the story of it, would absolutely be one that my wife would enjoy. So seeing her reactions to all of the things that I sort of know are coming, it was a similar experience when. It's like when you've read a book and then a show of the book, like Game of Thrones. Like I was a big fan of the book series. The show came out, and there was obviously the initial excitement of seeing this thing I loved adapted into this incredibly lavish HBO television production. But then you also get the vicarious excitement of watching the show with someone who doesn't know what's going to happen. And it's almost like watching a YouTube Let's Play, right? You're like, you know there's a cool bit coming up, and you just got an eye on them as well. Like, I can't wait to see what their reaction to this is. And it's with The Last of Us, for me, it's like that. I really enjoy watching my wife be like, oh my God. I'm just sitting there like, yeah.
I love stressing out my
right.
wife.
No, well, it's just, you get this, it's a real enjoyment, isn't it? Because it's great, I think, for fans of the games to see such an ambitious, lavish adaptation, one that really is like properly good. Like that's thrilling enough in and of itself. But for any of the people who know the game, who are watching it with people like you say, Ash, who haven't played the game, like that's a whole other level of excitement as well.
Hey, video game words, level.
Yes. Not exclusive to the world of video games.
Well, not only like with you saying people who, let's say, don't play video games being exposed to this wonderful story, well, not wonderful, it's a very dark story, but this brilliant story. It's also for those who know the game, they've added in little extra things that's also new and surprising for them as well. So not only is it like, you and let's say your friend or your partner who doesn't like, they're getting surprised, but also there's something for everyone to get surprised about, or everyone to be more like, what's going to happen next, because you don't know. And already the first episode showcased like bits of that already. Watching it the whole time, I was just thinking, if there's like a new character introduced, you're just like, oh God, what's their story? What's going to happen to them? You have like a slight suspicion, but still you just can't help but have the same feeling as if you're experiencing the whole story completely again.
It seems that they've really thought about, okay, what can the medium of television, or what does the medium of television allow us to do with the story that wouldn't necessarily be possible inside the video game? And like you say, Rosie, they're little new characters that don't really affect the overall story itself, but they add like a little bit more emotion, a little bit extra something for the audience to attach to, that you wouldn't necessarily be able to put in the game. I think you made a good point in your reaction video to episode 1. Like you cannot control how a player goes through a game and what characters they speak to and interact with. Some are optional, but with a TV show, everyone gets the same experience. So they're able to add extra little flourishes with the TV show, and just build upon and make the world and the story even more in depth.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Oh,
And it seems like they've really thought a lot about it as well.
100%. It's just, you can feel the love in every like beat of each scene. Like, you know that everybody acting in it like knows the series and loves it, and all of the kind of people involved have done their utmost to make this the most, you know, in-depth, immersive, beautiful rendition of this world. Yet again, like every time they do something with The Last of Us, it becomes the most beautiful, necessary version of it. And I think the TV series is no different. And that they've kept like some original actors in as well. Like we've got our Marlene in there. It's just really nice to see. And like we know that Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker are going to have like little cameos and stuff. So got to look out for them as it goes on, as we've seen in the trailers. I love how involved this is for everyone who knows everything about The Last of Us, because there are super duper fans, and how open it is for new fans to come in. For me, it's my parents, because they love like this sort of thing. They both like horror, and they both like video game stuff, and for some reason they never got, like my dad never got around to playing The Last of Us, and now my mom kind of has access to it because she's not a big gamer, so I know that those pair will absolutely love it, and being able to talk to them whilst knowing what's coming,
It's cool,
like you
isn't it?
say, like
It's so cool. You say the little things for adding cameos from actors who are in the game, like people who don't know the game aren't going to probably pick up on those things, but there's just extra little bits for fans of the games. Here's a little thing for you. And you know, it's I'm really excited that the world of The Last of Us is now going to be, the story of The Last of Us is going to be seen and enjoyed by so many more people.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think it's great.
It's just their whole attitude to accessibility just has kind of been reinforced with this, because now it's accessible to everyone. Like if you're a gamer or not as well. Like it's just really nice that everyone can kind of have access to this story. I think kind of a key point, I'm going to say this maybe is a light spoiler, but it's something that's going to be drawn upon throughout the series. So I'm just going to say that now. But there's been a change from spores being in the games to these little mushroom tendrils being in the mouths in the TV series. And I just kind of wanted to get your kind of read on that, because I think they're amazing and they work so cinematically, and they're creepy little wiggly tongue stuff.
They're like creepy and they're
So
like fuzzy,
good.
aren't they?
Yeah.
I remember, I mean, when I saw it in the first episode, the first instance, I thought at first it was the hair of the person who was being eaten. So just to show how like, and then when you see the wiggle, the little wiggle of like their little tentacly things, and they're just fuzzy, just fuzzy little mouth tentacles, really. They're creepy.
Fuzzy little mouth tentacles.
I just think it's a great like change up. It's something that, you know, you're not going to be able to have people in masks the whole way through a TV series. I know we've talked about The Mandalorian, but we're not going to have like gas masks through all these different sections. And it offers something that where you don't know what's going to happen with it. You don't know how they're going to use this. You don't know kind of how the cordyceps brain infection is going to differ slightly in the TV series. It adds that sense of like unsurety to people who know the infection and the games and the illness from that so well, which I find really exciting. And I think from like a horror perspective, like having this visceral body horror of the mouth as well, and knowing that this cordyceps is coming up and out of them and reaching into other things, is this very physical, literal interpretation of the need to grow and expand and take over. Oh, I just think it's fabulous.
I wonder how long they'll grow.
It's exactly. I want to know how long the tendril's going to be.
Like, you know, from what we've said so far, it's like, you know, probably a fingers length worth. Whereas I love it if, like, let's say later on in the series, what if there's just one who's just got like noodles of the stuff?
Exactly.
Like
noodles.
just like really
Noodle
long
mouth.
noodle mouth. But they move and wiggle as well. So you know, even if you're far apart, they're just going to be like
I'd love to see how it kind of works with bloaters, and if it works differently with bloaters as well. Like, I don't know, is the thing. Like seeing the bloater in the trailer, you've seen the one at like the end of the trailer where it's like that massive like plate encrusted fungal man. Like how is it going to be different? Is it going to be different? Like, are there going to be noodles?
Just slightly changing the subject, but I don't know if any of you have seen the behind the scenes still of Neil Druckmann directing an actor who's like in full cordyceps. It's so good. Like Neil Druckmann was like just pointing at something, obviously giving some creative direction. And this is this guy in like a runner outfit, just just sitting like a runner in like a thinking pose, like yes, I'll take that on board. I love that. I thought it was great.
Good. Oh God, I'm just really excited for this series, as I know you guys are, and I know everybody is. I really want to ask what you're looking forward to seeing with this format, but I think it's going to tread too closely to revealing too much for people who aren't familiar with the TV series.
Yeah, let's not do any spoilers. There might be people listening who have not played the game and are just coming to the TV series for new, and that's also I can't wait to see my wife's reaction.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All of the things.
Well, that's your thing. You can't wait to see how your wife reacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is important, again, from leading into it being in a new format. Like, that is absolutely something. For me, it's always going to be creature design and special effects. Like, I live for that, and I want to see how these nasty mushroom fungal boys like evolve and look different. Oh God, like knowing the timeline for all the different cordyceps creatures, from like runner to clicker to bloater to shambler to anything else, rat king, like what it gonna look like?
I'm just in like a general term, I'm just looking forward to seeing what new things they add to it. As in what they to add to the story and things like that. That's the thing I'm most looking forward to.
There's a lot of flesh going on, an already flesh built story, which is good. It's a good thing. There's so much, it's very rich, and I think lavish, you've said a couple of times, and I think that's a really good word to describe the approach to this. But I'm going to move on now, because otherwise we'll be talking about this all day. So I figured the kind of lead on from this is quite a faithful adaptation. At least since episode 1 is really faithful. So when you think of, your video game adaptations, whether it's TV or film, do you prefer something that sticks to the story or do you want something that expands upon the world that's kind of been established?
I think I don't mind if something goes. I think with The Last of Us, it's been, I don't want to say easy, obviously, because obviously it's not easy to make a TV show.
Make that.
But the source material you've got with The Last of Us game works for a TV show almost straight away. And that's sort of what I was saying earlier. It feels like it's a creative full circle here, because The Last of Us, Uncharted was inspired by like matinee action adventure movies. The Last of Us, I think, clearly inspired by really sort of, you've got books and movies like The Road, people existing, humans struggling to survive in these very harsh conditions, and there's quite a lot of like TV shows. I think that The Last of Us was inspired by it, for sure. And I think obviously when The Last of Us came out, video games had finally reached a stage where you could get that level of emotional performance out of video game characters. It's not just the voice, it's the facial animation, it's everything, it's in their eyes. And before that, video games just didn't have the technology to be able to convey that level of emotion through their characters. And so The Last of Us was TV level, cinema level quality in terms of the human story it was able to tell. And so the TV show, I think, has been able to just, it's like a natural fit, right? It feels like a natural fit, and
100%.
And they can be completely faithful to the story there. Whereas you get, there's adaptations of video games from years and years and years ago where the medium shift is so dramatic from a little retro 16-bit pixel thing. How do you turn that into a movie? How do you turn that into a, there has to be some degree of creative license afforded to the people who are making adaptations of these things. Otherwise, what are you going to get in the TV show? So I personally am all in favor of adaptation. It's an adaptation. That's the key word, right? Like I'm a bit of a, I always get annoyed when fans of books or fans of whatever it is, they see the movie of the thing they like and they're like, they didn't include this very specific detail. I mean, there's going to be a reason. There's going to be a creative reason why they haven't done it word for word or pixel for pixel or picture for picture, how it was in the original thing. And I quite enjoy seeing those differences.
Definitely. I think I really like when something super famous and great and lovely and known gets a story told that's completely separate. It's just in the universe, and it's like, okay, here's what someone else is doing. Like, do you ever wonder what's going on in this world? And kind of the roundness you get from that, of seeing this wider scope of, this is a really well established world. Here's everything that's going on. Here's the characters you know, and then here are some other ones and what they are up to and that sort of thing. And I feel like The Last of Us is doing that a little bit, because you're getting these new people kind of brought in and folded in, even if they're not long for this world.
Yeah.
They're in there, and it's really interesting to see them come from all these different angles. But yeah, like horror movies do it all the time, where the monster will be the same and then they'll just like change the decade or go somewhere else. And I really like that. I like seeing what an idea can do in all these different formulations of it. But also, when you're such a big fan of something, and The Last of Us, like, as I'm sure with everyone, like, it's close to my heart. Like, seeing the beat for beat bits is satisfying. Like, it's like, oh, I know that. Like, hearing Sarah say, drugs, I sell hardcore drugs. That's me doing my American accent. Drugs. I thought that was great, because I was like, oh, there's a funny, nice line from the game that we're all going to go, like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leonardo
meme,
DiCaprio.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of that, I think, through The Last of Us show.
Oh, how about you, Rosie? Are you on the faithful or the experimental train, or both?
I've been thinking, whilst you two have been talking, and I think I'm on the both. I like it when they have
on the boat.
I'm on the both. Like, I like it when you have elements to the original source, but I'm also, when they do new things with it and stuff. I think that's probably where I get the most excited for. Because I mean, like, an example that popped in my head has been, fighting video game fighters. And obviously, if you just did it from the game, you're just going to get a bunch of matches. But then it's how the adaptation takes the story or makes it so that the universe works.
Are you thinking of the Mortal Kombat movie?
Well, that's an example. And also there's a Tekken recently on Netflix, because that one, when they would like announce the trailers, so it still follows the story of Jin Kazama with June and things like that, but it's been how they've incorporated, I mean, I don't want to go into spoilers for how the show goes, but how, let's just say, for example, with the tournament itself, the King of Iron Fist tournament, how they make it so that, when you're playing the game, one moment you're fighting on a beach and the next moment you're fighting at an industrial area, how they make it so it makes sense in the world.
Yeah.
And then also as well, just with not even fighting games, but if you take the characters and things you're familiar with, and if you have like little references here and there in the background or something like that, or like lines, as you might know, that the character has said in previous games or things like that, seeing them go on a new adventure, I also find very exciting and interesting. So I think I'm like probably 50-50. I'm just
like good stuff.
I just like adaptations. I always have a great time with them. I think they're a lot of fun. So
definitely.
Have you seen the Castlevania?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Series.
What a brilliant show the Castlevania show is. I remember when I first started watching it, I was watching it when I lived with my parents, and I watched it on the TV downstairs because they went out for a bit, and I thought, me and my boyfriend were like, let's
Castlevania time.
Let's watch Castlevania, because they're not interested in it, and we got the living room, so let's watch it here. And then there was a really gory scene of like monsters ripping into villages, I think, and then my parents just decided to walk in, and we were immediately just like, we tried to pause it, but it was fully midway through a gory animation. It's beautifully animated, but it was like a full gory, and we were like, oh god, no, I don't want my mum to see this. Even though like nowadays she's watching Breaking Bad at the moment, but I was more just like, I was like, protect my mum. No, she can't see this.
I like the way it's not like we'll get in trouble for watching this gory thing. It's like, don't let my mum see.
That's another fantastic adaptation, Castlevania.
I need to watch that. You've sold me on it from this description.
Good. It's so good. But again, that takes characters from a very sort of specific Castlevania timeline, and I don't know Castlevania well enough to be like, oh, it follows it word for word and stuff like that, but I'm aware of the characters, I know of the universe.
Sorry, Rosie, I'm aware.
But they're going on this adventure a very gory and like troublesome adventure of war and
Gory and
death.
troublesome. Those are my two favourite things.
That's on the back of the box. That is a
I feel like-
gory, troublesome adventure.
I feel like I'm just jumping into probably what's going to come in later in the conversation of like adaptations we really like and things.
Oh yeah,
so
that's where we're going.
that's where we're going. So I feel like I'm just like jumping ahead of the gun, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should wait until the next topic pops up.
What's your favourite adaptation, Rosie? Tell us. Is it Castlevania?
Well, no, my favorite adaptation is very near and dear to my heart because I watched it all the time when I was a kid because I love this character. It is the first Tomb Raider film with Angelina Jolie because
Yes.
I watched that film on repeat again and again and again. I loved that film. Again, like I was saying, you've got it's Lara Croft and you've got the mansion and the manor and things like that. So you've got like the things they have in the Tomb Raider film, and she goes around on adventures and sees different cultures and everything. But the new things when I was a kid, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like the robot at the beginning that Lara's training with and stuff. They're not in the games, but as a kid, I was like, wow, Lara's got the money to buy a robot. She could do that. And then you have the tombs and stuff like that as well. So
The tombs that she
and the
raised.
tombs.
and the
There's some
tombs,
raiding
and
that
she's
goes
raiding
on.
in them, and you got Daniel Craig.
Oh yeah,
being-
Daniel Craig's in it, isn't he? I always forget that.
Being the young Daniel Craig and stuff. So that's a very near and dear adaptation to me. But I have a thing with some friends where we try and watch all video game adaptations. So in terms of like my favorite, there's just so many. I love obviously Castlevania on Netflix. I've been really enjoying Tekken on Netflix. I enjoyed the Street Fighter film from like back in, when was it? Probably the 90s or something. It
The one
came
with
out.
Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. That's a great. And I can't remember the actor's name right now, but the actor who plays M. Bison. He's also in the Addams Family. He's like Mr. Adam in it, and he's
Sorry, who's
Mr. Adam.
Who's Mr. Adam? He's the dad. I can't remember his name.
Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez. Thank you.
Mr.
Yeah,
Adam.
Mr. Adam.
I do call him probably Mr. Adams.
Nobody
and, like,
calls him Mr. Adams.
Well, I call him Mr. Adams. Well, he
Mr. and
plays
Mrs.
more than
Adams.
one Mr.
He's that actor, but
And-
him as M. Bison, he has great fun with the role, and it's just a joy to watch him play that as well. And there's like even the Mortal Kombat films, which you mentioned.
I love the Mortal Kombat film.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely love really stupid action films. Like,
Yeah.
I make a big deal about liking horror, but I love silly action films like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is one of my most watched actors because I love every stupid film he does.
Is he in Doom?
He's in Doom.
Yeah,
I
haven't
love
seen Doom yet, but I know that he's in Doom.
I love it, and like Rampage as well when he's in that. I love silly action films, and Mortal Kombat was absolutely like. Oh, it just embodied the spirit of not taking itself too seriously. You see all the stuff from the games where like the guy throws the hat around and all that sort of stuff. It was just like every moment was a bit of a spectacle and a bit of a like, this doesn't need to be anything more than we're really enjoying the video game moments of this film, and I love it. I love it so much. Like,
I love those moments as well. I've had this with the Tekken anime at the moment on Netflix where you're watching it and then you see a move that you know the characters do in the game, and then like you have the meme Leonardo DiCaprio moment of like the move, they did the move, which could go over a lot of people's head, but you're just like, oh, I know that move, they're doing that move and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of video game adaptations because I love video games, and this is just another way to enjoy them and also share them with other people and stuff like that. So yeah, those. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Even recently, I watched the Dragon Quest film on Netflix as well, and
I didn't even know there was a Dragon Quest.
I'm just
film.
nodding like, of course
there's
there
a
is.
Dragon Quest film, but it's from the fifth game, and so that film goes through the story of the fifth game, obviously condensed into film form. And since watching that, I've only played Dragon Quest 11, but I watched this whilst playing 11, and now, because that pretty much, I believe, just follows the story, I really want to play Dragon Quest V and actually now see it in video game form. So it's not only a case of, you play the video game and then watch the the film or TV show. Sometimes it's the other way around. You watch the TV show with a brief little bit of knowledge, and then you're like, I really like the story and stuff, and then you see what the actual video game's like as well.
Did you ever watch the Ni no Kuni anime?
Yes, I did.
I still haven't watched that.
Oh, that's a fun ride as well. I immediately just wanted to say something, and
Well,
I'm
I
just
need
gonna
to-
stop. I'm just gonna
no.
stop saying it because
I was meant to watch it and then just didn't. But occasionally someone will message me on Twitter like, "Have you watched the Ni no Kuni anime?" And I was like, "Oh no, I really need
It's
to."
on my list.
I need to.
What is your favourite adaptation then, Rob?
It's a difficult question because the one scene that always sticks in my mind when anyone says video game adaptation to me is a scene from the first Resident Evil movie, the laser corridor.
I haven't
love
seen
the
a Resident
laser-
Evil film.
Oh my God,
I
Rosie!
know. I was going to say it's going to come up,
Oh
but
my
everyone asked me because I
God.
love the Resident Evil games. I just have never
Why?
seen the films.
They're so good.
Why not?
I just haven't seen
Well,
them. I don't know. Just
I'm going to talk about the laser corridor.
Yeah.
You got to see the
Colin
first,
Salmon.
the first Resi movie
Mm-hmm.
just for the laser corridor. So I remember watching that. I was. I can't remember how old I was, but I remember thinking, "Oh my God, this is so terrifying!"
Mm.
Like it was a really terrifying moment. When you watch it now, it's not as terrifying,
Oh, it's
just
so
quite
good.
funny.
The way
But
his chunk falls
it's
out.
so good. I love it. I don't want to spoil it for
I'm
you
just
now,
here,
Rosie.
just like, no, I
But
know. I've been meaning
you'll know
to.
the scene when you get to it because they're in a corridor and there are lasers.
But I'm sure you've seen.
I think
yeah.
I've seen that scene on when people upload a highlight or something.
Yeah.
Or they start sharing it around on social media and things like that. So I do think I've seen.
Hasn't it been referenced back in the game since then as well? Like, I swear that I don't know if that's true or not, but
Depends on when it came out, and you've got the famous
Rosie would know
yeah.
if she'd seen the movie.
You've got the famous laser scene in Resident Evil 4, but I don't know when the film came out compared to when.
the famous laser scene in Resident Evil 4. Describe it to me.
So Leon is in a corridor. And then lasers
enough.
start,
Yes, that's
start
it,
like
that's it, yeah.
appearing, and then he does these awesome like slow mo
Yeah,
moves
yeah,
to
that's
avoid them and stuff.
That's the reference to the film. There we go.
But which came first, the film or the
I think
game?
the film came first. I think
Yeah.
the first Resi film was early 2000s.
It was about 2000 or 2002.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Resi 4 was 2006.
I can't remember right now. No.
It was definitely after the movie.
Yeah.
okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because it
well,
was
there you
referenced
go.
back and
Well,
everyone was
then
like-
I've learned something there. Then
There we go. I love the Resident Evil films. Like they're so silly in like the best way. Like, oh my God, like that they can capture all of the game stuff. I feel like a film or adaptation has never captured the spirit as well as the Resident Evil films.
Okay.
Because like it's horror, but it's schlocky, like it knows when to be corny and it knows when to be really cool and action packed, and there's loads of bits in the middle that kind of tie it all together, and I think they're fantastic. Like to be fair, I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I haven't seen 6 yet because that was on my big watch of them all. I missed out 6, but the first 5 that I've seen, like I was looking forward to the next one. Every time I finished it, I was like, let's get the next one on, let's get the next one on. And then like you'll meet characters and stuff that are from the games, and you'll do the Leo move. You're like, there they are, there's Ada. Like, it's so good. You will love them so much. Like, you will love them. Sorry, Rob.
Can I also mention Final Fantasy VII Advent Children?
oh yes, what a ride that is!
Oh yeah!
Oh
I
yes.
remember when I was so excited for that to come out. Like there were trailers for it, and then it did eventually come out. And I was at university at the time, and I bought the DVD. I accidentally bought 2 copies of the DVD because I double clicked by now.
Oh,
I was-
I buy it.
and 2 copies arrived hilariously. But I gave one to my friend who I had to come round to my dormitory room. We did a Final Fantasy VII Advent Children viewing.
Sent him
and
with a goodie bag.
He had never played the game before, and he was just watching it like, what the hell's going on? Who are these people? And I was just like, oh, the entire time. It was just, at the time, it was the most amazing CG I had ever seen. Ever.
It's still got some really good moments. I watched
cool
it.
as heck.
I bought it on Blu-ray after I played Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why. I played Final Fantasy VII on my Vita, and then when Remake came out, that's when I started thinking, yeah, let's watch Advent Children. And there are some really good CG moments in it, if memory serves me correct.
The action scenes are amazing. Like the fight scenes where they all fight Bahamut in Midgar.
Yeah.
And Yuffie is running up the side of a building, and there's like a one shot where 4 or 5 different, the camera's like panning round Bahamut, and 4 or 5 different characters all sort of like leap across the screen. Like Red 13 goes in for an attack, Vincent like swoops back and shoots it. Yuffie's running at the side of the building throwing her shuriken, and it finishes with Cloud doing this amazing attack.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the Final Fantasy VII characters I'm picking up.
Yes, yes. It's a type of movie that doesn't really make a huge amount of sense if you don't know Final Fantasy VII. But for people who like Final Fantasy VII, it's basically one big CG fight scene.
Even if you do know Final Fantasy VII,
amazing.
there are some plot moments in it that you're like, okay, right.
Yes. And then there are some interesting fan theories. Then with Final Fantasy VII Remake, there are some very interesting fan theories about how the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake has potentially taken some elements from Advent Children and canonized Advent Children in a way that makes it even more exciting.
I think that's one of, I think that was not mainly, but when, again, I did Remake, I heard about these theories and stuff. I thought, I really need to now watch Advent Children to get a full grasp of what could potentially be happening. So, and I'm very glad I did as well.
Yeah, so not only is it a ludicrously over-the-top CG action movie, it could now be quite important to the story of the ongoing Final Fantasy VII.
I can see you wanting that so bad in you. You're like, I want it.
Yes. You could get so deep, and it gets really sort of complicated in a little bit. You've really got to dig into the lore and the backstory. But also, I remember when Final Fantasy The Spirits Within
I wrote it down.
came out.
I wrote that down.
Which I think is a criminally underloved and underappreciated movie.
I haven't heard of this one.
This was the very first Final Fantasy movie, and they went big on this.
Okay.
I remember being in a cinema and seeing a trailer for it, and just open-mouthed at how good the CG was. Like at the time, Square Soft, as they were back then, this was before the Square Enix merger, like the CG cutscenes in Final Fantasy VIII in particular were so good that they just had this reputation for doing the best CG ever. Like Squaresoft's CG was just god tier CG.
Yeah.
And then I saw the trailer for the movie, and I was so hyped, so hyped for it.
I need to look out for this one
and
then.
You got to watch this film, Rosie.
It's great.
You got to watch the film. I think there's some really good actors in it as well. Like Ving Rhames is in it. Does one of the voices in it. It's a cool film, and I think even now the CG looks pretty good.
Well, it's like watching Beowulf as well. That CG.
Oh
film.
yeah.
Obviously, that's not an adaptation. Well, it's an adaptation of a very old poem.
Yes.
But or book, whatever. Old Norse. I don't know stuff. Old English. I don't know. Somewhere I studied it at uni, and I think it's in. I don't remember. Anyway, the CG in it's really good.
It's great.
The Spirits Within, I have such vivid memories of loving that film, and I think this is like the key crystallized moment, though, isn't it? Because I haven't really played Final Fantasy games, and Final Fantasy games, I don't think they're bad or anything, but they don't interest me. They don't hit my gaming needs from other stuff that I've played, and that's not to say that they wouldn't if I gave them more of a chance. But I wouldn't label myself a Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy is Spirits Within. I'm a massive fan of. I love the Spirits Within. I just remember the big if you get touched by the monster, it kills you, and there's all these wiggly tentacle monsters everywhere, and it's really emotional, and they're all driving in between everything. It's like a kaiju film. Oh my god, it's good.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the games.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are little elements in there, little tiny elements that are nods to what's in the game.
I need to find this now and watch it.
But it's an underappreciated, I would say, a really underappreciated, visually spectacular science fiction movie.
Yeah.
That you should definitely check out, Rosie.
I'll find it.
Reams. I feel like I'm gonna finish off this section because there's so many films written down here. But for my kind of favourite, it's the Silent Hill film.
I was going to say Silent Hill for you, I can imagine.
I love the way the little girl goes, Silent Hill!
That's actually, I haven't seen the Silent Hill films either.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I haven't seen that, but I have seen the scene of her just rolling on the floor going Silent Hill, like just screaming it. That's the only thing that I really know from that. It's just that moment.
It's my favourite thing to just reference, like Silent Hill, and then they all drive to Silent Hill. Like, all right, yeah, she's going on about this place in her nightmares and is about to fall off a cliff. Let's take her to the town. I watched it when I was too young and too afraid to watch a proper horror film, and there's a scene which is like the true Silent Hill, kind of like it morphs between these two worlds where it's kind of like this old disused horrible place, and then the alarm bells go, you hear the noise, and then it turns into this ugly, horrible, decrepit place. And there's a bit where she's hiding in a bathroom and this horrible, gnarled, like barbed wire creature is crawling up the floor, and I had to run out of the room. Like, I was like, I'm going, I can't watch this, and had nightmares about it for weeks. Like, because that's just the sort of person I was back in the day. But it fascinated me. It's another one of those things. Horror's always fascinated me, but even when I was too young and afraid of it, and I came back to it, and I love it. I think it's so... It's got, again, it's another one that's captured the heart of the games in being this psychological, monstrous, freaky little adaptation of what the game series represents, and plays with all of these different themes. It has the fog, it has all the moments where you're going to yell about, and it's just, chef's kiss. Well, I love Silent Hill.
They've announced a new film, haven't they, as well?
Yeah. Is it Townfall, or is that the game? The names are a little lost to me.
I can't remember. I don't think this one has a name yet. I just remember that they had like the director who... I think they also directed the films that are already out, but they're taking like a different sort of angle with the film now. But I remember when they were talking about it and things, I'm excited for the upcoming Silent Hill film.
Oh my God, the bit with Pyramid Head as well. That's just flashed into my head. Oh my God, I think it's just a sublime, disgusting moment, which I won't say because you haven't seen it. But the bit where Pyramid Head and the door. That's all I'm going to say. But good. It's good. I'm really excited. I love talking about films. Oh my God. I love talking about video game adaptations as well, because they have that such special place for fans on both sides of the spectrum, for film fans, for game fans, everybody, and the people in the middle who are like about it. Okay, us. It's even more special. But yes, I think we should finish up here with a final question that is there any video game kind of series or singular game that you would love to see in film or TV?
Oh,
well, we know God of War is getting one now.
Yeah,
that's official.
That's crazy.
That's very exciting.
That's very exciting.
We don't know anything about it other than that it's happening.
Yeah.
Because I would have picked that.
Yeah.
That is happening now.
Yeah. There's a piece of me, like, I don't know to say or not, but like I'm always a little bit like, oh my God, that's my favourite. Like, be careful. Hold it carefully.
Yeah.
Like, look after it. Like a bit of that sort of trepidation. But I also have, after seeing The Last of Us first episode and kind of feeling where that's going, I have nothing but joy in hearing more adaptations are coming for people to tap into these games.
I'm just saying, I know that there's been, I think there was a film that was made exclusively in Japan, but I would love it if they made maybe a TV series or something on the Yakuza series, because it's such a great story. And I think, again, you could incorporate, the seriousness of the story, as well as then have some, so, when sometimes films and TV series, like, we know there's a serious story, but here's a little more lighthearted moment, like even if you have Kiryu scene of him in a bowling alley or something like that. So I think like a TV series to give it, more space to fully explain the story. I don't know of which Yakuza game yet. I haven't decided that. But I think if they did that and then made it for worldwide so everyone could access it, that would be awesome.
100%. I think I would... really, sorry, my stomach gurgled as I said that. That was my body going, please. I would love to see Control have like a...
Oh, that would be great.
Imagine a TV series of Control where it's like the psychological kind of... Oh my God, like there's just so many ways you could play with it, and I would love like if they did a kind of Monster of the Week kind of Control sort of thing with Jesse going round like, oh okay, here's Former the Worm, oh okay, here's the Mold Threshold, oh okay, here's this other like thing that's crossed over, whilst having this big like, push to find Dylan and discover what the oldest house is, because there's so many things you could do with it because it crosses over so many dimensions. Control, like Twilight Zone Control.
I do love that genre of TV. In that same vein, I think Returnal would make an amazing... like that just sort of you gradually unravel the mystery of what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
I think it would just make for a very cool TV show.
So good. Oh my God, a Hollow Knight animation as well.
I was literally in my head. I was thinking of I was thinking about what games do I absolutely love, and then I thought of Cuphead. I was like, hang on, Cuphead's already got a show that I watched. Like,
oh, here we go.
Yeah, like, I was like, I've already watched all of that as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
So
It's just so ripe. Like, especially with these like massive 100-hour plus games as well. Can you imagine like a little Elder Scrolls? Like, I don't know if it would work, but I would watch it, like an Elder Scrolls moment where maybe just like someone who like a comedy series where it's someone who just lives in Whiterun and watches the Chosen One do everything. Like, oh God, he's breathing fire again. Great, shouting again.
Absolutely as well. Another series I love is Parappa the Rapper, and there was an animated series exclusive to Japan again. Maybe I should just move to Japan at this point, learn the language, and then I'll get access to all of these things, and then I'll come back and be like, there we go, I've watched it now, and it was great.
You can come back and do the special episode. But for now, we're going to move on, and we're going to go to the comments of the week. So stay tuned for a small little song. Okay, guys, we're in the comments of the week section, and there's 3 of us. So who's going to do the double sing?
I will do the double sing.
I will take the song.
I will take the ring.
I will take it. Usually we have Dave to set the key,
Yeah.
to set the harmony, and Dave's quite a good singer. I am not. So.
Yeah, we're missing the actual musical talent here right now.
Okay,
He's got
so
his jumper, there's remains.
I'm having a blank of the order now. Now Dave's not. I don't know why. Any other time it's been 3 of us. It's been fine. But now I'm like,
let's go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Okay.
It's time.
It's time. Sorry.
Look,
I'm not very good at singing.
come on.
I was trying to find the note.
Let's do it again. Let's go again.
Okay, sorry.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for comments of the week.
Sorry, I'm still laughing. Moving on.
Look, now Dave's going to think that he's crucial now to this.
Don't say that.
We can't.
That's how I feel about that.
Why would you? What has gone on here?
I've just dropped my tablet. It's got it back now.
Oh, sorry. It was just Ash's face when the note broke as well. Just
It's time for comments of the week, anyway.
Right. Okay. We're in. So, comments of the week. We are here. We collect these comments, or Alex, our community manager, community coordinator?
Yes.
Community coordinator is his official title. Collects up your lovely comments that have the hashtag PodSquad in
Pod
them
Squad.
from either YouTube videos or social media. So, wherever you want to leave a message, carry a pigeon, throw it into the fire and will it to us, like write it on the back of a stone tablet
It
in
won't
blood.
get here if you throw it into the fire.
Yeah,
Just saying that.
You know, we might think about it though.
Maybe
it
will
will
work.
appear in a dream.
I will sit quietly and see if I can see any messages behind my eyes. But yes, send us a little Pod Squad comment and it'll come into this list, perhaps, and we'll read it out, perhaps. So for this week, we're starting off with Maiden Kaplan, who says, I gotta say, I listen to you guys whilst walking around the university or walking my dog, and every time you say hashtag Pod Squad,
Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
I chime in, trying to be the fastest one to say it. This has caused several awkward situations where people stare at me shouting, Pod Squad!
Pod Squad.
Like a maniac. Thanks for that. Love you guys. You're very welcome.
Ah,
That's great.
reminds me of Dick and Dom, their bogeys game.
Yeah, this is our bogeys.
Yeah, this is our Pod
This is
Squad.
our
Just do another one for that person.
Okay, well, you don't know where it's going to come. I'm going to keep on talking so you don't know when it's going to drop, and I'm going to say lots of things very fast. Pod Squad!
Pod Squad!
Ah, there we go.
Rosie was good. Rosie's become the best at this.
I've learned now.
From being regularly the last.
I'm like a puppy.
Rosie's in there almost before Ash has said it now.
She hears the and she's like, ah!
You can say like puppy, and I'm like Pod Squad.
I'm going to say lots of P words as well for lovely Maiden Kaplan. So, papaya, parappa, pamplemousse, Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
Pod Squad. Ah, Rob got me that time.
This is going to be our new game now. Oh, right. Well, thank you for that. We've also got one from Matthew001 who says, really loving the podcast. As a long-time viewer, it's been great to have something to listen to when travelling now as well.
Aww.
You all mentioned having a good break over the holidays and being refreshed. A lot of us use the break as an opportunity to play more games and catch up on the backlog. Haha. But I wondered, do you all take a complete break from games, as in you spend so much time playing them at work, or maybe just use the time to play things you haven't had a chance to for the channel? Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
Well done, Rosie.
I win.
Well done. I think for me, it's very much like, I don't know, just play games. Just play games all the time.
I think it depends on at the time. I mean, the Christmas we just had, I finished up Sonic Frontiers and I played Crisis Core. And then after that, I delved into the backlog and booted up Skyrim. So
Yeah.
that was just at the time. But the Christmas before that, not even before that, it was Christmas maybe I can't remember now, but I just dedicated the whole time to Yakuza Like a Dragon, non-stop playing it. I couldn't put it down. And that was at the time it had just come out and I was playing it for work, and then the Christmas break happened, and rather than doing something else, I was like, no,
It's time.
more Yakuza Like a Dragon.
I think it's important to have a little moment where you do pull back slightly, and I think Christmas is the best time for that, just having a little, I'm going to eat some food and lie down. I like to use it for...
You can do both of those things, or playing video games though.
Exactly.
Which is
It's true.
You can eat, lie down, and game.
My
all at the same time.
my version of that is just playing games that are shorter, is basically it though. So I'll play something like Signalis. I played at Christmas. I love that. It was so good. Where I had a few days absolutely bashing Signalis, and then I'll have a couple of days where I'm just Christmas time, and then I'll go back and play something else. I'm going through all the Sly Cooper games again at the moment, and that's kind of born from the Christmas. I can do what I like. I'm going to go back and play some old favourites. But yeah, I think it's good. It's good to have a little mix of everything, and games are a break. That's a little escapism, isn't it, as well? So it's just having a bit of a mix. Yeah?
Yeah,
Just checking in.
I agree.
We got one from Jonka Melot next, or Melo, who says...
Melon.
Jonka Melon. Frequent lurker and hashtag VOD squad. Good, just checking. Been ill since the start of the year, so decided to go back and watch all your podcasts since episode 0. Thanks for getting me through this sickness. I'm now part of the Pod Squad.
Pod Squad!
Yeah, had lots of fun and I'm feeling much better now. P.S. Did you know there's a Yu-Gi-Oh character called Robert Pearson?
What?
Really? No. I'm glad you're feeling better, but also what? No.
A Yu-Gi-Oh character.
That's fantastic.
Let's duel.
Duel.
Robert Pearson, it's time to Remember we made a joke about
Blue
that?
Eyes White Dragon. Yeah. I can't remember what it was. I remember the joke.
It was in Ghost of Tsushima, I think, where, you're doing the dueling matches. And I think it was in a Friday feature. You made a joke of it's time to... And then I had to edit it. So it was just all when the animation goes down.
I do vaguely remember that, yes.
I remember you scripted it in and I was immediately like, is that a Yu-Gi-Oh joke? And you were like, yes. And I was
is.
like, excellent.
Yeah, I used to love Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, now you're commemorated forever as Robert Pearson from Yu-Gi-Oh.
I had that's blown my mind.
I was waiting for you to say, yes, actually, Robert Pearson isn't my legal name. I got it from the Yu-Gi-Oh show.
I was named
so
after...
much of a Yu-Gi-Oh fan that I changed my name to some minor character from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. That's a nice little fact.
That's
That's
great.
so
I'm
fun.
going to have to Google this character now, see what they look like.
Make it your
Yeah.
profile picture on Twitter.
I will.
You should.
Oh man, here we go. You've got that to look forward to. We've got another one from Jack Skett, who is Access Fans Discord Overlord. Hi, Jack.
Hello.
Hi. Who says, absolutely brilliant series this year. Well done, team. Pod Squad.
Pod Squad.
After 3 series of the Christmas maze, what's your favourite challenge and which is the one that haunts your dreams? I think
Whoa.
Rosie being angry haunts my dreams.
Out of 3 years, what's the favourite?
Yeah,
Oh, God,
after the
that's-
whole thing.
Oh,
My favourite, I wasn't even in it, but Dave doing the Slender Challenge was my favourite.
I really enjoyed revealing what that was
Yeah.
to him because I knew how much you would hate it.
I remember you phrased it in a very specific way that it seemed to be everything that Dave would be very good at and love. And he was very good in the challenge, but the way you phrased it, and then suddenly it's like, it's Slender.
I didn't realise what the game was going to be till very late in the day designing that challenge because all I knew I wanted was like a scavenger hunt around the office and they got to find 8 items. So like, how is there going to be a game? What game fits into this? And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, the 8 pages from Slender. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. And then my goal was to try and make it so that you all nominated Dave for the challenge.
Yeah.
But yes, I did enjoy that. That was great.
Just a good challenge. Just a great challenge. Little spooky one. Also, Elle with the chompies.
I was going to say, that one's probably... I was trying to think which episode made me like the laugh the most, and I remember being in absolute tears on the Yakuza... What, and not only that, but like in the room being with Elle, and bless her, she had like the mouth guard on or whatever it's called, the lip widener. And
I'm going to go to the dentist and put my lip widener on.
The thing that makes all your teeth show. And I just remember everything she was saying was, and bless her, she was so brilliant and needed more and more tissues. And then even watching the episode back, and then Rob hearing you say like, oh, she's not going to get like the Godspeed gears or something, and then just I knew exactly where it was, and just how the whole episode just went out in the end. It was absolutely fantastic and great fun to do as well. One that probably haunts me in a weird way is I don't know why it's always started with the Death Stranding one we did with the heart monitor.
You don't know why that haunts you.
But I think it's just because that was it was the first one that I failed, I think. I mean, I might have failed one before, but I remember this one I felt as if it was my fault, and I failed because I got so excited about finishing the challenge and completing it that it was my downfall.
It wasn't the fear that got you, Rosie. It was excitement in the end.
The intensity. And I just remember Nath the whole time. Like I think it haunts me because I think Nath should have played it, because Nath is so good at being calm and...
Yeah, but he's no good at games, Rosie.
But he was playing Death Stranding at the time, so that's why I thought, like...
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, what a good boy. Yeah, no, that is good. All of them are just good. Like, you're very good at it, Rob. You are very good at creating Christmas mazes.
Oh, yeah, it's like the highlight of the year.
Well, I wish I could take the credit for all of it.
I mean, Robopoly this year was
Robopoly.
phenomenal. Seeing that board and like doing the challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really take credit for Robopoly.
But I will.
It was Robopoly's Steam.
Yeah. But yeah. We should stop talking about the Christmas maze now.
Okay.
It's over.
I also love being
It's
wrapped in
over.
wrapping paper. That was a lot of fun.
I tell you what else is over this section, because we're running over and we're going to go to Before We Go. Okay, we're in Before We Go, where we're just going to have a quick talk outside of gaming about what everyone's up to. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, please do. And if not, I have some prompts. So we can talk about like a favourite original IPs for films and TV, or you can tell me if you're sticking to your New Year's resolutions, because you know,
I am.
This all happened in the last episode. I wasn't here for the last episode.
I went to the gym 3 times last week.
Hey.
I've started my jogging quest for
Rosie?
training.
Nice.
And by the time that this episode goes up, I would have also hopefully shared a link as well for the fundraising stuff. So I did my first run on Sunday, and of course on my first run...
How was it, Rosie?
Oh, it was tough. It was tough.
Are you using like a Couch to 5K app?
That's what I'm using. Everyone recommended
Really
it.
useful.
And I've picked Denise as my coach from the list. And it's amazing how long a minute lasts when when you're jogging. I've got like a playlist now on Spotify. And I was there like doing it, and then the whole time in my mind I'm like, come on Denise, say that it's nearly done. Say that it's nearly done. And also on my first run, it went out and it was lovely and sunny, and then it poured it down with rain, and then it hailed, and then there was a lovely sunny double rainbow, and then the paths were flooded, and then puddles, then it rained again, and then puddles that were puddles were now flooded paths, and I was just like, I've just got to jog through them, so my feet were wet and I was drenched, and then I won't lie,
Sorry,
I couldn't finish.
This is such a dramatic...
It was so dramatic, and then I got a message from my friend because I asked if he'd let me into the flat once I'd done it, and then he saw the hailstone coming down, and he was just like, are you home? Did you get in okay? And then at that point I stood there and I was like, I'm drenched. I think I need to warm my bones before I get ill. So I sort of like jogged on back. So I did have to cut it a bit short, but that was because everyone also says online I've got to listen to my body. And at this point I was drenched and freezing. Yeah. And I was just like, okay.
Your body was like, please.
Let's get in the hot shower. But so I did do it, and I've done it now. So now I've just got to keep it up. And right now my legs are floppy. Like, even when I was walking to the shop, my boyfriend was like, your feet are like slamming on the floor, you know, when they just sort of flop.
Yeah. Your muscles will start to get used to it there, Rosie.
Yeah.
I say that as someone who's never got past week 3 in Couch to 5K. But you'll do it.
Yes.
You will definitely do it.
We believe in you.
I will do it. I will do it for the charity and for everything. It will be done.
I can imagine you just like you're going to be running marathons. You're going to be running at the side of buildings. You're going to be euphying like
ultra marathon Rosie in like 2 or 3 years' time.
No, I can
running
that.
over the entire Welsh mountain range.
Rosie's like, I could.
No, I'm like, I couldn't do that. I mean, like I said, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm terrible at running. So, I mean,
Land's
for
End
long.
to John O'Groats, Rosie running the whole way over a month.
over a whole month. Oh my god, my legs and body would die. So yes, I'm doing that now, and it's being done, and training is commencing, which feels good.
Yeah, nice. And you've been to the gym 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah, but you've been to gym. I did like one jog because I had to buy equipment and stuff. But
It's
you've
a very
done.
stressful jog.
I was
Yeah,
proud
we-
of myself for doing
Yeah.
it 3 times. Already my brain is like,
That's enough.
maybe I won't go this week. But it's so hard. It's so hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
To do what's good for yourself all the time. And it's so easy to do what is not so good for yourself.
To stay
To
home.
just stay home doing nothing.
I'm already thinking about the bag of cookies I'm going to pick
Yeah,
up
I know.
for lunch.
What is your New Year's?
Eat healthy is the main one because I started before Christmas being like, oh, I'm going to eat healthy and kind of like go ways to making myself feel a bit better. And then that failed after Christmas. I just didn't get back into it. So I need to get back into it. Whether that's, through doing a bit more exercise or just eating healthy. It's that really boring one of just, look after yourself. I think a lot of mine I just mainly like just be kinder to myself is probably the main one because I know that I am a bad critic and just do healthy things healthily is my rounded New Year's resolution.
2020.
Play more games.
And play more games. 2023, the year of overall health and play more video games.
Yeah, I don't know. The number 23 is one of my numbers that I'm like, that's a great number. That's a really good number. That's a solid number. Like I just feel good about the number 23. So I feel like this year I'm gonna achieve things.
You're going to do it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
a good number in sport, isn't it? It's like Michael
Is it?
Jordan's number.
oh, that's,
Oh, is it?
That's my
David
connection
Beckham's
to Michael
number
Jordan.
for LA Galaxy and the number 23. I think Michael Jordan made it popular.
Is it? Me and Michael Jordan, the same. The
Do you
same.
think, I'm immediately thinking of the Space Jam film, and I was like, does he have the number 23 in Space Jam?
I don't know.
He should do.
Yeah. Also, one of my other, I don't know if it's a New Year's resolution, it's just something I really want to do, is I really, really want to get a cat in my flat.
Oh!
But like I'm not home enough to look after it, and I'm not like I don't think it would be fair to have a cat while I'm on my own and I'm out quite a lot and I go home and I travel on the weekends and everything. So I feel like this year I maybe want to try like volunteering at like a cat charity or like an animal charity or do something like that. So I get to see some animals and do something good.
That's a nice,
If you-
nice wholesome thing
That's
to want
lovely.
to do.
If
Yeah.
you did have your own cat, do you have any name ideas?
Grimble.
Grimble. Oh my god, little
Grimble.
She
Grimble.
Oh my
already
god!
knows
Actually, hold on.
what it would be called.
Let me draw my phone out because I have a list of cat names in here that I keep for such an occasion. I'll tell you my list of cat names. So Grimble is the main one. Grimble, I think, is an owl from The Legend of the Guardians, which is a Zack Snyder owl film, which is basically the Lord of the Rings with owls. Also, I think Salazar, and then in brackets the Warlock Prince. I would love to have 2 black cats called Bartholomew and Balthazar, so I could call them Barty and Batty. Precious Mineral, I just think is a nice name.
Is that for one cat?
Just Precious Mineral.
Precious Mineral.
Precious Mineral. Francois de la Salami. Also, Star Spangle, which I just think is great, but it's a little bit patriotic of America. So maybe it would have to be an American cat. I'd have to check the meow first. McRib, also a good name.
McRib.
And I don't know, I've written Ravioli Egg Lover as well. Ravioli Egg Lover.
It is my kid. Like you have like a collar on it. It just says ravioli egg lover.
What's wrong with just calling them like, Cleo or Whiskers?
Nothing.
God.
Nothing, but that's my little rundown. Grimble is good though. Toasty is called Toasty, but it came about through being called Topaz, and then she was Toastbag because someone can pronounce it, and then she became Toasty, and then she became anything that we wanted to say, like she's called Peep and Papoose and like just all sorts of weird
We
names.
could get down a whole rabbit hole here
Yeah.
of what are the names you call your pets that aren't their actual names.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well Angus is Lord Angus, and I call him my little polar bear, even though
Aw.
he's an old big boy now. He's always my little polar bear.
Do you have any weird ones, Rob?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I just call my dog's name is Hallie.
Yeah.
I just call her Bum. It feels quite apt.
Yeah.
She's just quite lazy and just like.
My mum did one where my nieces were a lot younger, and I don't know where this came from. We all just met up for a little get together, and she just called Angus randomly Angus Pangus the Pooey.
Yeah.
And ever since, it's always just been a thing. Like, how's Angus Pangus the Pooey? Like, never heard that name before. My mum just came out and said it. I don't think she'd ever said it before either. And ever since, it's just been like that's one of his names.
Got to flow out. Oh, it's the way it be. But on that note, I'm going to think of some fun pet names for you guys for next week. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. This is the end of the podcast now. Don't forget to give us a like and a review if you're listening on your listening apps, because it really means a lot to us. And, I read them all the time. So I would like to read some nice ones. Don't review it if you don't like it. But yeah, if you have any time to give an honest review, genuinely, that would be fantastic. Or leave a little comment on YouTube, and that would be really, really helpful. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you're having a fantastic day, week, 2 weeks when we come into the next one, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.